fun sports. This poop gate, it's actually also not stopping, right? Every time that I have been going on the internet the last couple days, everything has been surrounding the story of Lamar Jackson, plays for the Baltimore Ravens, obviously something that you and I pay a lot of attention to, especially being here in DC. He was named the ACF Offensive Player of the Week. That's the 7th time in his career. But the biggest story surrounding him is what happened on Monday night when they played the Cleveland Browns. They actually ended up winning. And I know a lot of people on the internet were talking about how it was one of the craziest games they ever saw because it was the Ravens ended up winning 47-42. But Lamar Jackson ended up leaving the game because he claimed that he had cramps. And if you watch the video, if you have seen it or haven't seen it, of Lamar sprinting down the tunnel, I'm not quite sure if that looks like cramps, Kelly.
Well, it's a cramps of a different kind. So
yeah, stomach cramps.
Yeah, stomach cramps. And I love how he like shoos the other person out of the way, right? He's like, get out of there, let me in there. But he has come out and said that it was not that he had to use the bathroom, that he really did have cramps, but then he returned to the game. So that makes furthers the speculation that he was taking a poop.
Even though he has come out and said that it was literally like he got IVs, he had an arm cramp, he had a leg cramp. And again, this story of whether or not you truly believe what you believe in this poop gate, whether or not he did have stomach issues and ran to go to the bathroom or had cramps, it was just an incredible game because they had their backup quarterback go in there. He ends up getting injured. Lamar Jackson ends up coming back and wins them the game. So kind of all like in a couple minute span at the end of the game.
There's a book that a child book about everybody poops, and it goes through and it shows like an elephant pooping. It's all like these drawings and birds poop, and of course you read it to your children as they're learning to potty train. And I feel like everybody poops, even Lamar Jackson. It's
so what you're saying? So athletes poop.
That's right.
Athletes poop. Well, speaking of athletes, a lot of athletes kind of took to the internet, Kelly, and social media to, I guess, add a little bit of humor to the situation and to further speculate that Lamar actually was having stomach issues. Here's RG3. He had a funny thing to say, obviously, about Lamar Jackson. Funny photo, Lamar after pooping and Browns lead.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's never ending, to be honest. Like, you can really go down a giant rabbit hole digging into all these tweets that people said. The one that caught my attention is Roberto Luongo. And for those of you that aren't familiar with him, longtime NHL goalie, played over 1,000 games in the NHL. His nickname is Bobby Lou. Like, he's had like one of the biggest like personalities on social media. Like, he totally embraced it. And we know a lot of these athletes don't really show their personality on social media a lot. But this guy does. He spent a lot of time in Florida, in Vancouver, and a little bit of time in the Islanders when he was a rookie. So backstory about Roberto Luongo. In 2007, in the Western Conference semifinals, when he was playing for the Vancouver Canucks, he did not come out in between periods. They were facing elimination, playoff game. They were tied 1-1. He ended up going to the bathroom during the intermission. And he's the goalie, right? He's the starting goaltender. There's only one, just like there's only one quarterback. And he missed the start of the game because he was going to the bathroom. And he literally came out and said, he goes, my stomach didn't feel good. And so obviously he has such a huge personality. Actually, this is Tom Wilson. I want to get to this in a second. But Roberto Luongo tweeted that he was like, I feel you and I know what you're talking about. I can totally relate to Lamar Jackson having quote unquote cramps because Roberto Luongo said that he had quote unquote stomach cramps. So it's just how many of these players are coming out and talking about this is just crazy. And then Tom Wilson, obviously beloved Washington Capital here in DC, had a little conversation with Joel Ward. And Kelly, I know you've obviously a longtime Caps fan too, have been following the Caps for such a long time. Joel Ward got stuck in a bathroom in Dallas back in 2013 in the Omni Hotel and had to call, at the time, I believe it was Carl Alsner, to come let him out of the bathroom stall because those are like those big doors, right? Like the heavy doors, the locks. And so Joel Ward tweeted that he was like, I know what it feels like, man, to get locked or to have to be in the bathroom. Lamar, I know the feeling, he tweets. And then Tom Wilson tweeted, definitely a first and only time seeing that, the bus getting delayed for a teammate getting locked, stuck in a bathroom. There's so much, Kelly, around this darn poop gate story. We could go on for hours.
What I love, Locker, is that you found a way to talk about a Monday night football game, which we don't cover a lot of the NFL here, to bring it back to the Caps. That you're like, yep, there was an incident. I remember that with the Caps, Joel Ward. So again, professional athletes poop. It's fine. It's all good. There's the childhood book. Everyone poops. They need to add like a little sketch of a professional athlete.
So I have one funny story. When I was coaching at Potsdam, I was the assistant coach, and our head coach at the time was a man. And at one point during a game, one of our star players was like, Coach, she's like, I got to go. I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, I got to go. Like, you don't understand. I really got to go. And I didn't want to tell the coach where she was going because she was obviously going to the bathroom, and him being a male, maybe just uncomfortable conversation. And I just remember him being like, Courtney, where's so-and-so? Like, put her out there. Where is she? I'm like, she's not here, coach. And he's like, where is she? I was like, nature calls, an athletes poop. So it does happen, right? Like, and I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more. But that's just me. I don't know.
So, I mean, there's all these famous, you see runners that like, as they're running, they don't want to slow down. They use the bathroom while they're running and things like that. But as a hockey player, you got a lot of gear. You have a lot of stuff to put on. So if you really have to go, like it is like, I don't know how you get the pants and the padding and everything, the skates and like running. I mean, I can't even imagine.
It's a commitment. Like, you gotta be committed to go. Like, it's not just like, oh, I kind of gotta go and I can hold it. It's literally like, I can't hold it, because you're right. You have the undergarments, and then you have your long johns, which are then sticky when you try to pull them back up, and then your shin pads are falling. Yeah, it's a thing. It's got to be a full commitment if you're going to go down that path.
The only experience I have in that is when I wore double Spanx on my wedding day. So you had to like pull up the wedding dress, like make sure it wasn't going in the toilet, put it over your head. Like then you got to like hold the dress up and also get down the Spanx. So, I mean, I can relate.
Totally. And so brides poop too.
That's right.
That's the besides staying home and being safe while driving, that's number one PSA for today. And then the second PSA is that everybody poops. Last thing though about Lamar Jackson's poop gate, and I found this ridiculously funny. I've never heard of this brand, Kelly, and so I'm not sure if you have, but Tushy is a bidet company apparently, and they reached out to Lamar, basically offering him free bidets after this incident.
Brilliant.
It's unclear of whether or not he's maybe going to sign an endorsement deal with them or not, but
the world needs that. Okay. The world needs that. The fact that we can be laughing here at the end of this poop storm of a year about poop, I think is great. And I hope Lamar like kind of like embraces it and has a sense of humor about the whole thing.
Even though he said it was cramps. But we all know the truth. Nobody runs like that. Like, we all know when you're running, when you gotta go.
Right.
That, or like when you're in the car. Those are the two worst things. Like when you're at somewhere and you know there's not a bathroom, or like you're in a car. Okay. Should we move on?
That's good stuff.